3rd and 14, 5:50 and counting remaining here in the fourth quarter. Heineke back, Heineke hit by Hayward, down he goes. Cam Hayward is by himself now, second in sacks in Steelers history as he moves past the great James Harrison.
Oh, would you let the Lion King roar there, baby?
Hi everybody, welcome to the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. Cam Hayward now at 81.5 sacks throughout his career. And the Steelers now another victory Monday, 3-0, the 10th time in team history, the 3rd time under Coach Tomlin thanks to their home opener win over the Chargers yesterday, 20-10. Joining me today, as always, is Mike Prisuta to help break down things. And let's just jump right in. We're going to go to the Chargers' 3rd possession, offensive possession of the game. This is when the points started happening here, Mike.
Yeah, and you see the big guy in motion there, the fullback / defensive lineman, so you think maybe it's going to be a run, but the Chargers crossing the Steelers up a little bit with a nice little fake toss pass over the middle. This is a running play, obviously. Unique to this play is the Steelers had 10 players on the field, so that might have contributed to the 13-yard gain. But you did see a nice tackle by Joey Porter out on the wing there. Porter, of course, comes up prominent in this play as well. Clear miscommunication by the Steelers. Not sure if they aligned properly. I'm not sure if they were on the same page coverage-wise. And when you have those two things factoring in, that's a too easy touchdown, Missi. But fortunately, not too much came easy for that Chargers offense.
Yeah, at that point it was 7-0, but we jumped to the second quarter. The Steelers with the ball here, and there you saw Fields hitting Pat Freiermuth for 10 yards, and then they eventually got the ball rolling in terms of finding the end zone on this drive.
Yeah, this is just a little check down here to Najee Harris, but you end up getting a nice gain out of it, and you keep a manageable situation on the sticks, and then really nice throw there. That could have really gone wrong, and instead you turn the 3rd and 4 into a 20-yard gain. If that ball's not perfectly placed, it might have been a pick six. And then great job by Miller on the other end of it, shaking Asante Samuel there and getting himself a nice splash play.
Yeah, and the Steelers were without Van Jefferson for a large portion of the game, so Fields was spreading the ball around to the guys that were eligible, but then he also was able to take it to the house himself.
Freiermuth moves right to left, and now the fake, and Fields runs into the end zone off the left side, and the first rushing touchdown of the season for the Steelers, the first in Fields' Steelers career on the ground, and the Steelers have cut this to a 7-6 deficit.
You know, read option keeper there, and great presence by Jaylen Warren after he did not get the ball. He just kind of turned around and got in the way and actually helped seal that off for Justin Fields. That's twice now. If you go back to the Darnell Washington touchdown, the pass in Denver, Jaylen Warren blocks critical to both plays.
Backs on backers always have to think about Friday night at Latrobe Memorial Stadium. Staying in the second quarter, though, the Chargers get the ball back here, and they are able to get some points before we get to halftime.
Justin Herbert on the out there. Joey Porter showing some respect to Quentin Johnston after the miscommunication in the first quarter. It wound up in the end zone. This time they get him on the ground.
Yeah, and Justin Herbert still in the game at this point. We'll get to that as we get down a little bit closer, but this was a chance for them to try the defense to hold strong here, and unfortunately this drive did end in a field goal. And Chris Boswell, before the half, had a chance to also try a 62-yarder. Boz is magical, not so much on that one. It was a little bit to the right. But at this point, it's sitting at 10-7 at the half. What were you thinking at this point?
Well, I think the Steelers had 14 rushing yards at that point, so I was thinking they better figure out a way to run the ball because this game was billed as a showdown between two defenses. Which was going to be the better defense, which team was going to be able to run the ball better. It turned around dramatically in the second half, but there you see the Chargers with the time of possession advantage in the first half, even though they were only 33% on 3rd down. That's because they were able to run the ball and the Steelers were not. But you saw that the Steelers were starting to figure it out on that last run by Dobbins before the field goal clip. You see how many Steelers are playing on the Chargers line of scrimmage and how many guys they had around the ball making that tackle.
Yeah, no doubt. And the Steelers defense knew going into that game you were going to have to stop Dobbins and even Gus Edwards. Moving forward to the third quarter, the Steelers got the ball here to kick things off and able to get some points on the board thanks to this drive. The first one, Justin Fields finding once again Scotty Miller for 11 yards.
Yeah, and as he had in the first half, he gets a little yards after the catch. Not as many this time as the last time, but the face mask certainly helps.
Always helps.
Really timely contributions from Miller and Calvin Austin III in this game, Missy.
Speaking of Calvin Austin III here, just one of many that was 25 yards here. The Steelers weren't able to find the end zone in this one, but Chris Boswell, this is nothing. 38. You know, if it's not over 50, you're not really too worried about it when it comes to Boz.
And that kind of slantish play, the play before to Austin, that we're going to see that again.
All right, 10-10 ball game as we sit here, and unfortunately, old former Steeler, Bud Dupree, getting that interception there. What did you not like about how that play unfolded?
Kind of like Justin Fields. You see he's throwing into a covered receiver, and it's a tight window. And, you know, when you throw over the middle and it's not perfect, Missy, and the ball gets deflected, sometimes that's where the interceptions live.
And then here is the last time we see Justin Herbert. That was a sack by Landon Roberts. And as you can see, Herbert definitely in pain, not able to fully walk off the field, a little bit of a limp there. They definitely tried to have the trainers work with him and see what was going to happen. But eventually Jim Harbaugh pulling him and putting Tyler Heineke in. But first, let's listen to Coach Tomlin after the game talking about his defense.
They got no control over when or how they take the field. They got all the control on how they get off the field. That's the life we live. I think it was reflected when we turned that ball over, right? When that ball got tipped up in the air and intercepted, you saw the spirit in which our defense took the field. So we're not looking for comfort. We're not looking to hide on the sideline. We'll get ourselves off the field.
And that was a tremendous response by the defense there. You look at that situation, the Steelers took over at the Chargers' 41-yard line. It's midway through the third quarter. This game has been a tug of war. It's still anybody's game, and the Steelers seemingly have a great chance to break the tie with the great field position. They turn it over on the first play. The defense comes out and gets a sack for a loss of 9, and then a 1-yard run, and then a 4-yard run. So your net result for the Chargers on those 3 plays was -4 yards, and the Steelers get the ball right back. That's what championship caliber defenses do, Missy.
Absolutely, and getting the ball back to the Steelers offense, staying in the third quarter for another chance for the Steelers to get some points on the board and to finally break this tie.
There you see Fields hanging in against a blitz and getting the ball to Freiermuth, and they'll tack on some more yardage there thanks to a penalty flag. That was going to be somewhat of a theme on this possession.
And we should mention, in the first half, the Steelers had no penalties, definitely down from Denver. But, of course, the penalties helping the Steelers thanks to the Chargers starting to make some not-so-great plays. Here's another one.
Yeah, that was an 8-yard out to George Pickens on 3rd and 10. But hitting Justin, you can't do that. You can't hit the quarterback in the head. That's a pretty obvious call, and that extended what would turn out to be a productive possession for the Steelers as Chris Boswell knots things up.
All right, so 13-10 now in the fourth quarter. And thanks to another great performance by the defense on this drive. As you said, J.K. Dobbins really not getting things going in the first half, but, man, the second half, there was nothing there.
Yeah, and again, the pursuit. Look at Joey Porter Jr., tackle for a loss. He had a couple of tackles out on the wing. There's TJ finally getting his tackle, or his sack, excuse me. But Joey Porter Jr.'s tackling, Missy, was a subject during our weekly conversation with Terrell Austin, the defensive coordinator. And he said it was something that they were emphasizing and something Porter had gotten a lot better at. We expect that kind of stuff from TJ Watt. But Joey Porter Jr. not just shutting down number 1 receivers. He's playing a physical game, and he had to play one against the Chargers. Yeah,
no doubt. So they get the ball back to Justin Fields and company, and this is where we finally see a second touchdown in one game.
Yeah, nice completion of Pickens there. And then we're going to see a little ground and pound. Number 66 is eligible. Mason McCormick There you see him signaling first down.
He's pretty excited, yeah.
You know, getting into his first offensive action of the season, he alternated a little bit with Spencer Anderson at left guard, and then they went back to Anderson and started going 66 as eligible with something approaching regularity, and that helped set up this play to Calvin Austin. Beautifully thrown ball into a tight window by Justin Fields, over one safety and in front of the other, and Austin does the rest.
Yeah, and this was Justin Fields' second longest touchdown thrown in his career. He had a 56-yarder last year, and let's hear from Justin Fields on that touchdown pass to Calvin Austin.
Of course, huge play. They were just in zone quarters, and you really just, high-lowing that, hook defender. The hook defender took GP underneath, and, Calvin was right behind him. So, great play call in that situation. Of course, you always appreciate the yards after the catch that Calvin got us, and, of course, it was a huge play for us.
And it wasn't Calvin's longest touchdown reception. That happened last year in Vegas, but you could tell, Mike, when he came off the field, he was huffing and puffing. I mean, it was hot out there, and you figure it was so late in the game, and he was able to do it, though. And for a home opener, I think, the fans were already pretty excited. That definitely set them off.
Yeah, and they almost broke that first one in the first half, and then they came back to a similar play. And, boy, a two-score lead at that point with the way the defense was playing felt pretty insurmountable, and as it turns out, it was.
Let's look at some of the second half stats. I think just to show how dominant the Steelers defense was, and the time of possession also significantly swinging in their favor here.
And again, the Steelers got their running game going. That's really one of the things that stood out to me about this game was their persistence with it. Sometimes everybody wants to run the ball, but sometimes you got to endure some hard times and stay at it, and finally figure out what works and how it's working and get to it eventually. And if you don't stick with it, you never have a chance to find out if you can do it or not. This was a really good second half offensively, defensively, and on special teams. Look at Cordero Patterson here. He played a variety of roles, particularly after Van Jefferson went down. He missed the majority of the game with an eye problem. And the Steelers only had 4 wide receivers dressed because they wanted to make sure they had enough defensive linemen to survive the conditions that you just got done describing. And boy, Cordero Patterson, when he gets ahead of steam, that's a big guy to try to deal with. This is late in the game. They're just kind of gashing Los Angeles.
It's okay.
The Chargers finally did it. But, this is kind of how you draw up winning a game such as this. Najee Harris almost getting it into the end zone. That would have been a third touchdown, and that would have affected many, Missi.
Right, but then they bring out Minkah Fitzpatrick, and that's when the victory formation's coming up, and that's never a bad thing. But we'll talk much more about the Steelers' home opener win. But coming up next here on the Extra Point, Calvin Austin III joins me to talk about this Victory Monday. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, folks. Welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers Hall of Honor Museum.
Now this is the best era.
I couldn't agree more. Those teams were unstoppable.
The teams were really good in the 90s.
Come on, you couldn't catch those teams of the 2000s. Literally.
The 70s were the best.
No way, the 2000s.
Whoa, stop fighting. I think every era was pretty sweet.
You said it, kid. I hope you guys enjoy yourselves.
Wait, your T?
Now Cordero Patterson moves right to left across the formation in front of Fields. Back to pass. Throws over the middle of the field. It's Calvin Austin. He has his step. Austin heading straight up the middle of the field. Inside the 10 to the 5. Touchdown. Calvin Austin. 55 yards from Fields to Austin.
What a job catching that rock over the middle. Outrunning all the LA Chargers back end boys to the end zone.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. The guy you saw there catching that touchdown pass for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Calvin Austin III. He's kind enough to join us today on another Victory Monday. The Steelers moving to 3-0. And Calvin, you finally had a chance to probably look at the highlights of that. Take me through that touchdown and what worked so well thanks to some other teammates.
it was good execution all around, good protection, good placement on the ball, good concept and everything. So once you get good execution from everybody, you get plays like that.
How much did it really feed you guys knowing it was late in the game, it was hot, but you were finally at home and Steelers fans were ecstatic?
It was great, being in the fourth quarter. That's where we closed out things, and so just to get that play and to end the game how we did was big.
How would you say the Steelers offense took a next step in that game to kind of show what we've been seeing from all the way back in training camp up to this point?
I guess it was good to, see that play. We still got a lot of work to do and things to clean up on as far as just execution-wise. But, it's a good step, and, it's something that we can continue to build on.
What do you make of what Justin Fields has been able to do as QB1 in terms of getting everybody involved? 4 guys touched the ball multiple times yesterday.
It's the third game, so as this season continues to go on, you can't just bank everything off, game 1 or game 2. You just got to let the season play out. So we knew as it goes on that we would be able to get more guys involved and spread the ball around. I think it just made it easier for our offense to do that.
What's most exciting about starting the season so well, being undefeated and knowing that more and more teams are starting to get some losses as we go on here?
It's good, but we always got to focus on us and, just make sure that we're doing our part and, just make sure that when it gets to the end of the year and when the playoffs start getting it talked about and stuff, that we put ourselves in position by winning the games that we need to.
All right, Calvin, we really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us here.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
All right, we'll be right back as we continue here on the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. Mike Prisuta will join me for his final thoughts. Don't go anywhere.
Steelers Style, presented by Neighborhood Ford Store, PNC, UPMC, and UPMC Health Plan. Watch our players, coaches, and special guests walk the runway to raise money for Steelers charities. Get your tickets at Steelers.com/SteelersStyle.
Terrible towel swirling as Heineke sets up in the shotgun with the ball at the left hash. Brings Davis in motion left to right. Play action pass for Heineke, and he is taken down, sacked by Herbig back at the 16-yard line. Second sack of the game for Herbig.
What a great job of beating the offensive tackle off the line of scrimmage. The guy didn't have a chance.
Welcome back, everyone. That was just one of 5 sacks for the Steelers defense yesterday. Mike Prisuta joining me for the final thoughts. And Mike, I want to read this quote from Cam Hayward after the game. We're like a pack of hyenas. You dangle a little bit of meat and everybody just wants a piece. I think it's a bunch of guys who are hungry to get the sack first.
Yeah, it looked like it. The pursuit, the aggressiveness, the rallying to the ball, everything that they coach in training camp, you saw that throughout this game, and you needed it because this is a very good running team. J.K. Dobbins was the leading rusher in the NFL. Small sample size, couple of games, but his numbers were ridiculous. I think the Chargers were number 2 in team rushing, and the Steelers answered that challenge. This is a defense, Missi, that wants to be elite and thinks it can be elite, and if it plays the way it did Sunday, it is going to be elite. The other things that got my attention, I mentioned a minute ago, the persistence with the running game, and also don't forget the special teams. That sequence in the third quarter and into the fourth quarter after they finally tied it up at 10-10, the Steelers kicked off and there was a return. You don't see that much anymore. But Rodney Williams, welcome back.
Hot Rod, yep.
Due to the injury to Michael Pruitt. He makes a tackle at the 12-yard line. Then the defense gets a 3-and-out. Then there was the interception, another 3-and-out, and then the offense did its thing. So everybody kind of picked everybody up when they had to. And this is really a game, they all count one, but I think this is the best win of the 3, given the quality of the opponent and the heat and the injuries. And, a lot of factors had to be dealt with and overcome in this game, and they pretty much checked every box.
No one's going to complain, though, about another win, stacking them here. The Steelers now 3-0. They'll head back on the road this upcoming weekend to face the Colts in Indianapolis. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. For Mike, I'm Missy, and thanks to Calvin Austin III. We'll see everybody back here next week.